if I was an A player, if I was the best salesperson in the world in this marketplace, how would I behave? What would I tell myself? What would I do? Would I come to work and complain and blame and be a victim? Or would I pick up the phone and be different? Would I act like everybody else? Would I act like a vendor? Would I act like a trusted advisor? I think
Love that.
the biggest challenge that people have is breaking out of the loop of being themselves. And I don't know if you've ever listened to any Joe Dispenza stuff. He has a great book called Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. And we all want to be better. I don't say we want to be different, but I'm sure we all want to be better. And what are we doing in order to become better? How are we reframing our mindset? What are we doing to help our own mind come to terms with who we want to be, as opposed to who we don't want to be or who we are? That's keeping at this level. And I believe this: you have three types. You have your winners, you have your losers, and you have your at leasters. The mediocre. Am I allowed to say losers on this podcast? I don't even know.
You can.
Can I get away with that? Okay.
You got your winners. You got your losers.
You got your winners, you got your losers, and you got the ones in the middle, the mediocres, at least just the winners always expect to win. The losers always expect to lose. And the at leasters, they always expect to kind of be mediocre. And you've got to ask yourself, where do you want to be? If you throw yourself a few years ahead in time, what kind of a sales professional do you want to be? And I think that's a really important question we should be asking ourselves. How can we bring our future selves to the present? And so from a mindset reframing, what I train and coach my clients to do is, one, journaling. If you have a weak mindset, if you get offended, first of all, I don't know if sales is the right thing for you. If you have a fear of rejection, you might want to look for another job.
Sure. Yeah.
But if you do, is this something you're struggling with, then journal to yourself. Tell yourself that you're the best. Fake it till you make it. People say, I like to say, be it till you make it. Do it till you make it. And I will guarantee anyone out there that if they take a journal and they write to themselves every day, I'm the best salesperson they've ever seen, and you do that for 2 consecutive years, I guarantee you will become the best salesperson they've ever seen. But it's really what we tell ourselves. And if we can't tell ourselves that we're awesome, no one else will tell us that we're awesome. And if we don't have conviction, and I think the key word here is conviction, Brad. It's conviction. It's, people like to talk about mindset. That's, it's kind of, especially usually it's kind of sexy and, but it's really conviction, having full conviction in everything we do. The moment you have conviction, I say this, in a down market, hiring is probably one of the best industries to be in, because everyone's, they're all changing, they're moving, they want to get good people in, they want to get bad people out. I can't imagine a better time. And people talk about, there's a recession, and it's I was talking to someone earlier today, like, it's a recession happening. I'm like, this is if there was a recession, probably the best thing for your business, because when there's a recession, that means that things are changing, companies are evolving, and I think that's a super important mindset element with regards to, we don't succeed when it's great, we succeed when it's bad. Everyone succeeds when it's great. During COVID, though, like money coming out of everyone's ears. So it's like, yeah, right. There's money for free, but that didn't really last. And it's about difficult times that build us up, make us stronger. Do you go to the gym?
Me?
Yeah.
4 days a week.
So, and do the weights get lighter every time you go?
There are days where they get heavier, but most times they get
heavier.
Lighter, yes.
But you get stronger. You don't get stronger by looking at them or crying at that they're, that you get stronger because you're lifting them every time, and it's painful. And it's creating, your muscle doesn't grow, right? You're ripping your muscle for it to grow later. That's what it's all about. And that's why I always say rejection is protection. If you're getting rejected, you might just be getting protected. When I call and someone's being a jerk on the phone, what I say? Thank God this guy's telling me, James, I'm not for you. I'm a jerk. Move on. The great ones next. It's, a couple more dials. Every time you get a no, that means your yes is coming. But, it's a combination, going back to your question, of what builds that mindset. It's a combination of conditioning your mindset but also doing the behaviors. If we're not doing stuff, nothing happens. Nothing changes.
Yeah. It's interesting. You mentioned conviction. I come from a music background, and I was on a ticket with a touring musician at one point. And when I got off stage, he looked at me and said, Brad, you sing with conviction. And when people sing or speak with conviction, anyone will listen to you.
Isn't that a great feeling?
And it's interesting. It's interesting that you said that, and that I actually just got called back to that, because that was years ago. We're probably talking 15, 16 years at this point, but I remember him distinctly saying, "You sing with conviction." And then I started to kind of, you know, air aside and kind of like pass him off a little bit. And he said, "But when you speak and sing with conviction, anyone will listen to you." And I think in the sales game, you know, when you're not on, when your voice starts to fluctuate, the prospect knows that. And if you are speaking with conviction at any point of that process, the conversation becomes so much more easy.
Well, can I add something onto that?
I'd love it.
I would
Please.
take it even further. I'd say don't even talk. Speak in conviction. Ask questions with conviction. Ask the toughest questions you can ask. Because only someone has full conviction in everything they say and do, they ask really tough questions. And you know what they do rest of the time? They shut up. They don't need to talk. Salespeople and sales reps that are listening to this, you know you might have a conviction problem if you're talking too much. You know, always say this: never justify, explain, or defend. The reason is because the people that hate you won't believe you, and the people that love you don't need it.
Yeah, I have found by having a show like this and by having more calls and just being on the phone more, I've stopped asking guiding questions. So I've stopped getting down a path where I know where I want you to start to answer, and I'll just sort of stop and let the individual take that where I go. But if I speak with conviction, I ask questions with conviction, well, then you know sort of what the question's supposed to be. You know the path that we're trying to go on. And it's so interesting to me how much this music background sort of comes into play. And we're going to talk about health and fitness in a second here as well, James. It's so interesting to me how much of that plays into the sales game.